Major decisions have a way of revealing what you truly trust. You can pray sincerely and still rush toward the wrong signal. Not every open door is an answer. Not every feeling of peace is direction. A job offer, a move, a relationship, or a financial choice can feel urgent enough to sound spiritual. But pressure can make certainty feel holier than it really is. Before you call something God's will, there are 7 biblical questions worth asking. They may completely change how you make your very next major decision. 1. Does this decision contradict anything God has already made clear in Scripture? Before you search for a sign, start with what God has already revealed. 2 Timothy 3:16-17 says, "Scripture teaches, corrects, and equips believers for faithful living." Romans 12:2 connects discernment with a renewed mind rather than stronger feelings. That matters when an attractive choice quietly requires compromise with what God has already said. A promotion may promise money while demanding dishonesty, and a relationship may pull you toward patterns Scripture clearly warns against. A business opportunity may look perfectly timed while asking you to ignore integrity. In those moments, desire can make a clear biblical boundary look strangely negotiable. Strong feelings cannot turn disobedience into wisdom. This does not mean the Bible names the exact company, city, or person you should choose. Scripture gives moral boundaries and spiritual priorities rather than a personalized map of every future step. Those boundaries keep excitement, chemistry, money, timing, and pressure from becoming your highest authority. Put your options beside each other and identify what each choice would require from you. Then compare those requirements with what Scripture makes clear about honesty, faithfulness, purity, responsibility, and obedience. If one option depends on violating a clear biblical command, you do not need another sign to override it. You may still need wisdom about timing, consequences, and practical details, but not permission to disobey. Let Scripture set the boundary before emotion begins arguing for an exception. Biblical decision-making begins with revealed truth before it reaches personal preference. 2. Have I asked God for wisdom or only for confirmation? This mistake is easy to miss because confirmation can sound spiritual. James 1:5 tells believers who lack wisdom to ask God, but wisdom is different from approval. James 4 warns that our desires can shape what we ask for and why. That means the posture of prayer matters as much as the words we repeat. In one published Christian account, a man wanted a very specific sign about the woman he might marry. He prayed that she would bring him zucchini bread, something unusual enough to feel unmistakably personal. She did, and the coincidence seemed so precise that the relationship moved forward with unusual confidence. Yet roughly 2 years later, that relationship ended, despite how convincing the sign had once felt. The sign was precise, but it was not a command. That story does not make every coincidence meaningless or every encouraging moment suspicious. It warns against turning one unusual event into certainty God never explicitly gave. Prayer is not meant to pressure God into approving the future you already prefer. Ask for wisdom, openness to correction, and courage to release the outcome you most want when the answer disappoints your plans and unsettles your expectations. Ask God to expose motives you may be protecting beneath sincere religious language. A sincere prayer can still carry a predetermined answer inside it. Pray with open hands, because wisdom begins where confirmation seeking finally loosens its grip. Do not ask only for a green light, ask for a heart willing to stop. 3. What motive is really driving me? A major decision can look wise outside, while being powered by something unhealthy underneath. James 4:1-3 describes desires and passions as forces that can shape conflict, prayer, and behavior. That makes motive examination uncomfortable, but necessary for Christian discernment. You may want a promotion because it uses your gifts and provides well for your family. You may also want the title because being admired has quietly become important. You may desire marriage because you genuinely value covenant, companionship, and family. You may also fear becoming the only single person left in your circle. Financial security can reflect responsibility, while the same goal can also become a way to prove your worth. Money, success, marriage, recognition, and stability are not automatically sinful desires. The danger begins when a good desire becomes a master you are afraid to disappoint. A permissible decision can still be pursued for the wrong reason, even when the choice itself remains morally permissible and socially respectable. So remove the strongest emotional reward for a moment and examine what remains. Imagine the salary increase disappears, nobody is impressed by the title, and family pressure suddenly goes quiet. Imagine you no longer need this choice to prove that you have finally succeeded. Then ask whether your reasoning still stands without fear, pride, loneliness, approval, or control carrying it. This is not about distrusting every desire. It is about refusing to baptize unhealthy motives with spiritual language. Godly discernment asks not only where you are going, but what desire is driving you there. 4. Have I listened to wise counsel that is free to disagree with me? This is where independence can begin sounding spiritual. Proverbs 15:22 says, "Plans fail without counsel, while many advisors help establish them." Proverbs 11:14 makes the same point by connecting wise guidance with safety. Trusting God does not require refusing advice from people who know Scripture and know you well. But the opposite mistake is just as dangerous, because 10 people agreeing with you does not transform their opinion into the voice of God. Counsel is wisdom, not a vote from heaven. A pastor, mentor, older believer, trusted married couple, or mature friend can help expose what emotion makes difficult to see. Their value is greatest when they are free to disappoint you. Because if every advisor already knows the answer you want, you are not seeking counsel. You are collecting agreement. Choose someone who understands biblical truth, understands your situation, and has nothing to gain from your decision. Give that person permission to challenge your assumptions and name concerns you may be minimizing. Then listen without immediately defending yourself or reshaping the story until your preferred option sounds better. You do not need 8 opinions before acting. You need enough wise input to test whether your reasoning survives honest resistance. Godly counsel does not replace prayer, scripture, or responsibility. It helps keep all 3 from being filtered through your blind spots. Wise people cannot make the decision for you, but they can help you see what desire may be hiding from you. 5. Am I deciding from wisdom or from fear, pressure, and haste? Consider an illustrative example. A 31-year-old Christian professional receives a higher-paying job offer in another state on Monday afternoon. The recruiter wants an answer within 48 hours. The salary feels life-changing, and the opportunity looks like an open door. Excitement quickly mixes with fear that delaying means missing what God provided. That is where urgency can begin impersonating guidance. Proverbs 19:2 warns against moving with zeal without knowledge, and Proverbs 21:5 contrasts careful planning with haste. These verses do not teach that every quick decision is sinful, because some situations genuinely require fast action. But Scripture gives no prize for confusing pressure with wisdom. Modern research points in the same general direction. A 2024 systematic review of 44 studies found that acute stress often impaired aspects of decision-making, although the effects varied across tasks and stress systems. That evidence supports caution, not a universal rule. So test the pressure itself by separating a real deadline from manufactured urgency created by fear, sales tactics, social expectations, or spiritual pressure. If the deadline vanished tomorrow, would your reasoning still lead toward the same choice? Do not delay forever simply because certainty feels impossible, but do not let panic make the decision before discernment has had time to speak. Slow down enough to pray, gather what you actually know, and notice what fear is adding to the story. Before answering, identify what truly changes if you wait, what merely feels frightening, and which consequences are facts rather than assumptions today. Urgency can be real, but it should never be mistaken automatically for God's direction. 6. Which choice better supports Christ-like character and spiritual growth? This distinction is subtle, but it can change the whole decision. Philippians 1:9-10 connects love with knowledge and discernment, so believers can recognize what is excellent. 1 Thessalonians 4:3 speaks directly of God's will in terms of sanctification. Galatians 5:22-23 then describes the fruit of the Spirit through qualities like love, patience, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Those passages shift the focus from getting the outcome you prefer to becoming the person God is shaping. A decision can be exciting, profitable, and socially impressive, while slowly weakening integrity, responsibility, or faithfulness. Another choice may be harder, while creating better conditions for obedience and spiritual maturity. This is where many believers confuse peace with permission. Peace can accompany wisdom, but it is not a verdict. Feeling calm about an option does not automatically mean God commanded it, just as feeling anxious does not automatically mean the option is wrong. Emotions matter, but they are not the final judge. Compare your choices by the kind of character they cultivate. Look at faithfulness, love, self-control, integrity, responsibilities, and the people your decision will affect. Notice which path makes compromise easier and which one strengthens habits you want before God. Do not reduce discernment to whichever option feels lighter today, because comfort can hide avoidance and difficulty can accompany faithfulness. The better question is not simply which future looks easier, but which path helps you walk more faithfully over the difficult years ahead while honoring the responsibilities God has already placed in your hands. 7. Can I make this choice humbly without pretending I know the future? This final question may bring more freedom than any other because it releases you from needing perfect certainty. In 2 Corinthians 2, Paul arrived in Troas and found what he described as an open door for the gospel. The opportunity was real, meaningful, and connected directly to ministry, so staying would have seemed completely reasonable. Many believers would read that situation as an obvious sign that God had already settled the decision. But Paul did not stay. When he could not find Titus, he left Troas and went on to Macedonia instead. The door was open, and Paul still walked away. That reversal matters because an opportunity is not automatically a command from God. Deuteronomy 29:29 reminds us that some things belong to God, while revealed things are given for obedience. James 4 also pictures believers making real plans while holding the future humbly under the Lord's will. Biblical discernment does not require decoding every hidden detail before you move forward faithfully. It calls you to use scripture, wisdom, counsel, prayer, and trust with what God has actually made clear. So make the wisest, obedient choice available, without pretending you possess certainty you were never given, even when another option still appears equally possible and faithful. Hold the outcome with open hands and resist saying, "God told me," simply because one path became easier. An open door may be an opportunity without becoming an instruction. Humility is not indecision. It is choosing responsibly while leaving tomorrow where it belongs, in God's hands. A major decision can feel frightening when you fear wasting years on the wrong path. But faithful discernment is not the same as discovering a blueprint for everything that will happen next. Scripture gives you truth to obey, wisdom to seek, counsel to receive, motives to examine, and a future to hold humbly. That is enough to move forward without pretending you can see tomorrow. The goal is not perfect certainty. It is faithful obedience. You may still feel nervous when you accept the job, end the relationship, move across the country, or choose the harder path. Uncertainty does not automatically mean you missed God, and comfort does not automatically mean you found Him. Christian maturity learns to act wisely without turning every feeling, coincidence, or opportunity into a private command from heaven. Make the clearest, faithful decision you can, then trust God with what remains outside your control. That kind of trust produces less panic, more humility, and greater freedom to walk forward responsibly. If someone you know is facing a major decision, share this message with them before pressure makes the choice for them. Subscribe for more biblical guidance on discernment, wisdom, and learning to follow God faithfully in everyday life. And write in the comments, "I will seek wisdom, walk humbly, and trust God with the outcome."